Well, it's Sunday evening, and thanks for clicking on to the November Outlook edition of Vogan's European Outlook. Hope you're having a good afternoon so far and a good weekend. Want to first and foremost draw your attention to the 50 HPA temperature forecast of the GFS. Some very interesting things that are showing up in the models as we enter the month of November. But it has been a cold October, no question about that. We've had a negative Arctic oscillation really for the first time in a few years. We have seen cold over Europe while it's been warm in North America. Now, yes, it is early. We're still only in the middle part of autumn and about to, of course, enter the final month of meteorological autumn. But there is things that are going on at the moment within our atmosphere and down at the surface that's indicating to me that we may see something a little different this winter compared to last year. Of course, I am building up to the final ideas that I've got for the upcoming winter season. Winter forecast will be coming out in marfogandweather.com on the 1st of November, so not long away. And I'm really looking at how persistent that blocking high has been over Scandinavia, delivering a cold easterly airflow. Now, it's been chilly, nothing too terribly cold, I grant you that. But it's what the atmosphere is telling us that may be indicating something for later down the road. Now, I might be entirely wrong with that, folks, but there is a weaker polar vortex this year. Hence, the reason why we've seen tropospheric warming, therefore forcing a negative Arctic oscillation, and in return, despite the fact that the NAO, the North Atlantic Oscillation, has been positive, so therefore we've had more trophiness over the North Atlantic and Greenland, so a negative, we've still seen a very cold October underneath that wheel of high pressure up over Scandinavia. But if you look at here at the 50 HPA temperatures here, so this is way up at stratospheric level, way high up, where you look for the warming and hence the slightly paler colors here. So you've got a green element here, and then you've got some pretty strong warming here. If you notice here up over northeastern Siberia or Asia, and the far northwest of North America. You've also got maybe a bit less, yes, but we've got warming here over Greenland, extending down over eastern Canada and over the North Atlantic. What is that telling us? It is telling us that there is going to be warmer air up at that level over this region, over Greenland. And quite often in the wintertime, if you're looking for cold and snow here in the western half of Europe, you're looking for a Greenland block and high to develop. And there is indications when looking at this that that may happen. And there is good, strong model indication. There's good persistency in the models as well, hinting that we are going into a colder pattern to start the month of November. Now you can see here, just bear with me a second here just to get the map set up properly. This is the Northern Hemisphere view. This is off the GFS ensemble 500 millibar height anomaly. So this is up at around 18,000 feet, say. And you can see here the reds are indicating the strong high pressure anomaly. You've had it persistent over Scandinavia, over northwestern Russia. That has been leading to colder air coming in from Russia across Europe, even reaching our shores here in the UK. But of course, those winds crossing a relatively mild North Sea has meant that the temperatures has risen by the time it's reached the east coast of both England and Scotland. But as we push through, this is the upcoming 5 days. Notice here there's a negative here over southern Greenland, positive here over the North Atlantic and central North Atlantic. Watch what happens with the blocking high here as we skip towards the early part of November. So we'll leave the month of October. Yeah, we've got high pressure building into the UK. That settles the weather pattern down. Cold, frosty, misty, murky at night time. Of course, that delivers much brighter days. And of course, with little in the way of wind, it feels not too bad. But of course, that sun is becoming increasingly weak. As we push through the period here, notice how that area of high pressure retrogrades northwestwards up towards Greenland. And we see a negative here starting to show up pretty strongly over Scandinavia and that is continuing the slide towards the UK here. So as we push towards day 12 and 16, this is Tuesday the 8th of November, we have got a negative NAO, and we've got a colder pattern across Europe here. What we're talking about in terms of 2-meter temperature anomalies here, let's have a look here. And you can see that we warm things up over Greenland, we start to cool things down over Europe, and that spreads westwards towards the UK here. So this is a very interesting setup to open the month of November, not the whole month, but to open it. You can see here, as we go back to the upcoming 5-day period here, you can see here that, yeah, we're neither here nor there, neither warm, neither cool compared to normal, really. It's about neutral. Notice here we've got plenty of cool down the western side of Greenland here, plenty of warmth, helped by former Hurricane Nicole pumping tremendous amounts of heat up into the Arctic region. That's probably what's leading to this negative NAO as well, because you inject tropical heat into the Arctic region, you then force high pressure to develop here, and that is what's going to happen. So as we skip through, watch carefully to Europe. It warms up slightly over the UK, if you notice here, as we push through the upcoming week. The reason being is we're going to see more of Atlantic influence. But then the high pressure starts to retrograde towards Greenland. And look at this here. It fills. This is the 2-meter temperature anomaly, remember here, folks. This is down at the surface. Warmer, considerably warmer than normal over Greenland and over the Arctic. While look at Europe, it goes blue, indicating that we're going to see much, much colder weather indeed here. So let's look at the 2-meter CFS V2 2-meter temperature anomalies for the hemisphere, and you can see here this is the 11 to 15 day period. So this takes out to the end of November's opening week. Cooler than normal here, cooler than normal across much of Europe, and of course warmer than normal if you notice here, and that extends down into the eastern United States, which is quite interesting to see as well. As we skip through, you can see here that we eventually start to moderate that air mass. I think we start to lose the negative NAO. We'll start to see Greenland cooling. We'll start to see lower heights across Greenland, and therefore we could see more westerly Atlantic influence returning once again. So all in all, I think we're going to have a cool first half of November, and then we get a pullback with the negative Arctic oscillation and North Atlantic oscillation. We'll start to see a milder pattern developing through the last half of, or the second half, should I say, of November, and then it's going to be very interesting as we push towards the winter's opening meteorological month here, the month of December, as to exactly what we get now. We could have a warm December, we could have a warm January, but I think we're going to see spells of snow and cold here, given what I'm seeing with the polar vortex being weaker, given the fact that we've had a very strong negative blocking pattern, or a positive blocking pattern over Scandinavia. I think the atmosphere is already hinting that we are going to get more winter than we did last year. And that wouldn't be difficult. It's been a very warm winter back in 2015-16. With the help of the Super El Nino, I think we're going to get a lot of very interesting things to come during the month of November and into the winter season overall. This is the month of November overall from the CFSV2, and it is indicating a negative NAO if you notice here, so that's quite interesting to see. So do check out the written version of the November outlook for Europe on markvogelenweather.com. It is free. Thanks for watching on YouTube, and I will be having much more as we push towards the winter. Have a great day. Bye for now.